Welcome to the Gynergy Effect, where energy meets intention and transformation begins.
We're your hosts, Garin and Yesi, partners in life, love, and purpose.
Here to share the tools, truth, and stories that helped us build a life from the inside out.
Whether you're seeking deeper health, conscious relationships, or your next level of purpose,
you're in the right place. Welcome to the first episode of the Gynergy Effect podcast. Man, we are so excited to be here with you guys today. This has been a long time coming, trying to get everything right and perfected. And what we realized is we just got to start. Yeah. We just got to do it.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about it for now it's almost a year, and it's finally here. And it is a great reminder that it's not about perfection. It's about taking action, taking messy, imperfect action. So thank you for being here. Our goal is to be as authentic and transparent as possible, and we're grateful to have you on this journey with us.
A couple things to expect from our podcast is really going to be about purpose. Are you in alignment with your purpose? How can you do that? Living a life of gratitude and service. And really just how do we implement different things in our life to help live our highest self? And not something from textbooks, something that we've experienced from real life, pulled ourselves out from the depths of hell, basically, and had that rebirth. So we want to share some of those heartaches with you. We'll also have other guests in as well, but I'm so grateful, me and Yesi, here day one, episode one. Let's kick it off. You ready?
Let's do it.
So what would you say that has inspired you to really focus on a life of service and gratitude and this Gynergy Effect? I know I'm always so impressed with your life story. It makes my heart melt, and I love you so much. But I love other people to understand why I love you as much as I do.
Thank you, baby. So my story starts in Mexico. I was born in Mexico as the youngest of 9. I grew up very humble beginnings in a poor, small town in Mexico, and my entire family decided to leave everything behind in pursuit of the American dream when I was 6 years old. So I moved to the country, not speaking the language, which was a bit of a struggle. And being the baby of 9, I was forced to be very independent at a young age. And being so, my goal was always to not cause my parents more stress, because I know they were already in survival mode. So I lived my life being extremely obedient and doing all the things that society told me to, that my parents told me to, that I saw was what was perceived as the right thing to do. So I was a first-generation college student. I went to school to pursue a degree in general engineering, which I did graduate with honors in. And then after that, I went to work at Goldman Sachs. After that, I went to work at Accenture, one of the top consulting firms in the world. I was achieving everything that I set myself to achieve. Any goal that I told myself I would achieve, I would do it. And I took a lot of pride in being like a trailblazer in my family, being the first engineer in my family, moving up the corporate ladder. Like at the time, I was pursuing achievement, performance, perfection, and I thought that's how I prove that I'm worthy, that that I matter. And it took me until 2020, 8 years ago, when I was already, pretty high up the corporate ladder, still working as a technology solution architect, implementing Salesforce, to really. One day I just woke up and looked in the mirror and I just didn't really recognize myself. From the outside, everything looked perfect. I had the job, I had the looks, I was fit and healthy. And I was in a relationship that from the outside looked like it was a good relationship, but inside I felt empty. I felt disconnected. I felt like I didn't have a clear sense of purpose when it came to my work. And also in my relationship, I felt like I lost myself. I was in a narcissistic relationship where there's a lot of gaslighting, a lot of controlling, and a lot of manipulation that over time just chipped away at my essence and who I was at my core. And in 2020, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I realized this is not me. This is not who I'm meant to be. I wasn't living in alignment with my values. I felt like I had almost lost sense of like the things that growing up were so important to me: love, family, faith, and really being very authentic to who I was. So that's when I embarked on this journey of self discovery to really be honest with myself and really ask myself the hard questions. What do I value? Like, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And that prompted me to end that relationship that was so unhealthy, to leave that corporate job and really pursue a mission that was more about purpose and giving back than it was just about me and checking all these check boxes and getting the job, getting the promotion, getting the certificates, just all about performance, achievement, and perfection, and just being more authentic, more whole. And that's sort of what prompted me to go on this journey of self-discovery, which is the inspiration for Gynergy to help others connect, come back home to themselves, wherever they are in their life, come back home to themselves and connect to their true essence and their purpose.
Well, I'm just grateful that you reconnected with your true essence because it's the most beautiful thing to me, and I love you so much. And
Thank you, baby.
you are like one of the most driven people I've ever met as far as anything that you set your mind to, you're going to accomplish. But not only you're going to accomplish it, you're going to do it in such a beautiful, poetic way that just fills whatever room you're in with this this love and this energy that inspires other people. And you have that essence with you. And so that's what I'm so excited for people to connect with you and get to know you in that way, like I do and so many other people do. And just like anything, just your career going from Mexico, going to school and learning the language, being a fish out of water, and then ended up graduating with honors from Illinois University in engineering. I mean, that's something to be proud of to your fitness journey. I mean, you're so dedicated to that. It's just, I'm just, I feel so grateful I get to feed into, that part of your soul and who you are. And, I see you for all those great things. And I'm really excited to take this journey with you. And I'm glad that we're here. So,
Thank you, baby. Can you
yeah,
tell he's in love with me?
sure. Just a little bit.
Oh,
Every day I wake up and I tell her all these statements about how incredible she is because she deserves that.
thank you, baby. I appreciate that. And I'm equally blessed to be here with you and to have experienced you, who you are, and everything that's made you the incredible partner, the incredible person with such a beautiful heart. So I would love to hear you share more about your story and what got you here, what inspired you to be part of this mission with Gynergy and with our relationship.
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I would say my life has been filled with a lot of beautiful adversity.
Yeah.
And the way that I look back at things and the way that I look at it now is everything I've been through in life was for a purpose. And that really fuels my fire and motivates me. From a young age to, growing up, my mom, she went through hardship in her life when she was growing up as well.
Yeah.
But she, turned to drugs and she wasn't always there for me. I'd be left at home by myself and, you know, not have food and be, you know, fighting for everything that I had. And then I was blessed that my dad took me, at like 6 years old. And there's just a lot to that, and we'll get into that at different times. But when my dad took me, he was my hero, got me into sports. Sports really were like the catalyst to have me understand my self worth and my value, and that it doesn't matter, where you're from, what's going on when you're on that field or football or I did wrestling and all basketball, all kinds of stuff. But it's just it's you versus them, and the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and that taught me a lot. And I had some really incredible coaches along the way. I still remember one of them, Coach Jeff, just this inspirational guy. And growing up with just me and my dad, that was a beautiful thing, but also had a lot of challenges as well. And then went through that and was able to translate that competitive spirit to real estate and found incredible success at a young age. By the time I was 23, self-made millionaire, had everything that I could ever dream of. Big 10,000 square foot house on Lake Tapps with the own sand beach. Every vehicle that I could want. And then I remember one day I was on my motorcycle going up this hill, and this guy had a yield to make a left turn, and so I'm headed up. Right at the last second, pulled out in front of me. I went boom, 45 miles an hour head first, into the side. And I just remember, right before hitting, just knowing there's nothing I could do to change the outcome of what was about to happen, whether I'm dead, whether I'm alive, whether I'm paralyzed. And I remember waking up and I was just so grateful, filled with gratitude because I was alive. And, from there, it was just these crazy sequence of events. Like literally, the person on scene was a trauma nurse. And the fire station was a mile away. And then the big blessing, because otherwise I wouldn't have my arm right now, is the surgeon on call just happened to be a top 5 world renowned elbow specialist. Put my whole elbow back together. They said within a year I would have arthritis so much I wouldn't even be able to use it. That was 15, 16 years ago now, and work out every day. So super grateful on that aspect. And that was part of the mission. And then started a cannabis company because prescribed Oxycontin, Ambient. Didn't want to take that stuff because I felt how it was changing me when I did. And I saw my mom with addiction. I had friends that, ended up passing away from it. Back then, people didn't realize the impact that it had on people. And I was seeing it. Now, everybody, I mean, you probably may know somebody that's been impacted by opiates. And I saw two needs: one, to create awareness there's a better alternative, and two, to create safe access. And that was with cannabis because it helped me get back to eating, sleeping, all those things. So I founded Medcare. And that was a long journey and a great journey, helped a lot of people. And it also was a very painful journey as well. And, started in 2009. And, in 2020, COVID started. We just had like hit this peak of opening all this licensed cultivation, retail, had 100 employees, had COVID that started, managing them. Then my grandma died. I was having issues kind of with my family because I'm essential and working, not wanting me to be there and say bye to her. That was tough. And finally overcame that. And then went through a divorce because that prompted a lot of realizations. My grandma was like my mom growing up. And it's just my relationship wasn't in alignment. It was causing a lot of problems with a lot of people. And within myself, I just stress at work, stress at home, all that stuff was to at a certain point, I just felt like I was either going to have a heart attack or I needed to make a change. And so I started that divorce. And then that was a really quite a painful, long process. And then literally thought, hey, now I'll be able to spend more time with my dad because I've been disconnected from him. Like I said, when he was growing up, he was like my hero. And within a 6 month period, then my dad passed away. And so I just kept getting hit after thing after thing after thing. And I just remember feeling so isolated and so alone. And, at one point in my life, I literally didn't want to live anymore. And I remember very vividly being on my balcony and just having that moment of like, just end it, just be done. Like, why continue this? Every day I was waking up 3 a.m. and I was just filled with just fear, fear of failure, fear of like just losing who I am. And I remember that moment of like about to jump, and then I felt like my dad, kind of came over me, and I had this realization. It's like instead of living in fear, if I'm willing to end it right now, why not live every day without fear? Why not live within my purpose? Why not do whatever I think that I need to be doing in my life? Take that action and do it, and not hold back, not worry about what other people think, because I feel like that is the thing that keeps us from really fulfilling a lot of times our purpose or our mission. Kind of what you're saying of being expected to be this perfect, check all the boxes. And I built that company to 8 figures. We're doing $15 million in revenue, and at the peak. And then as everything started just deteriorating, that was hard. And then I made that realization, and instead of jumping off the balcony, the next day I flew down to Mexico, and 3, 2, 1, I leapt and I bungee jumped. When I did that, my intention was just to let go, release anything I was holding on to. And when I did that, it's on my Instagram, you can see it, but I just three, two, one, leapt, and I had nothing. And when I hit the bottom, it just released. Anything I was holding on to, I just felt completely at peace. And that really was the start of this journey of self-discovery and really diving in deep and working on myself and diving into the childhood trauma and diving into everything that I didn't understand as a young kid. I mean, I didn't have a mother really growing up. I didn't even know how to connect with a woman. I got with my ex when I was 19. She was 27. I raised two kids, so it was like, that was a huge, like, just lessons. And what I learned is at the end of the day, if I'm not in alignment with myself and my purpose, it doesn't matter what I build, I'm never going to be happy. And then more importantly, because I found that alignment, and there's a whole bunch of stories we'll share with you
Yeah, it sounds like
that
you've lived like
attracted you in my life.
10 lives, and I'm so proud of you. I've heard this story many times, but every time I hear it, I'm just incredibly inspired by all the adversity you've overcome and the person that you are today.
I've had to do a lot of self work. Yeah, a lot of times we don't realize, when we are working to do different things, how trauma will surface and how that creates our reactions based on the traumas or the wounds that we have. And so I've really had to do a lot of self reflection, because when you're in it, you don't realize your faults. You don't realize that part. But as you reflect through it and you learn and you take those actions, there's a lot of realizations. And, I've helped a lot of people in my life, and I've let a lot of people down too. So,
So part of the human experience, right?
100%.
And that leads us to how we met. And the reason why we were so in alignment when we met is because we both went through our individual journeys of self-discovery, and we were honest with ourselves, did the work of really connecting and coming back home to ourselves and define what is it that we wanted in a relationship and a partner, while staying true to ourselves without compromising who we were at our core. So when we met, and you probably remember this in the beginning, we both had, individually, we had great energy. That's how we were initially introduced. Like, you do have great energy. I think you should meet. But when people saw us together, it was like a different kind of energy. It was almost like this magnetism, this attraction that people felt and they gravitated towards. And that's how the whole concept of the Gynergy Effect came about. It's a concept that it's not 1+1 = 2, but it's 1+1 = infinity. When you're in alignment with yourself, and then on top of that, you attract a partner who's also in alignment with themselves. Together, you have this amplified magnetic energy that other people can feel and they want to be around. So that is the Gynergy Effect.
Yeah, Garin, Yesi, energy, like
Yeah.
synergy, but Gynergy. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, and that's what I noticed when we first met too. Is like, just wherever we went, people would come up and compliment your energy, who you are, and I love seeing that. That was such a beautiful thing. I was like, man, this is exactly in alignment, with what I want out of life and the future that I envision, the mother of my kids. So that I'm really really grateful for that. 100%. That disconnection, that ache for more, is what we now call the awakening. And that's where Gynergy was born.
Yeah.
So all this journey, all this pain, all the not being seen, some of this different aspects of our life that we were on this mission that we thought was what was needed for us to live the life that we desire. What have we now learned from it? And what is exactly Gynergy? Like, what are we doing to create, you know, people to really get in alignment quickly without having to go through some of the struggles we've been through?
Yeah. The whole concept of Gynergy is that it's not so much about perfection. It's about being true to yourself. It's about aligning your energy with intention, with purpose, and living a life that feels true to you, not to what other people may think, society, what the world tells you. Is living in alignment with yourself.
And how are some of those ways that we help people get in alignment with themselves? Like, what are some of the tools that we prompt people to do? How does that work?
The main tool that we practice and teach others is gratitude. It all starts with gratitude. The moment you focus on abundance and what you already have, what is going great, you attract more of that. Gratitude is really the foundation of Gynergy. We call it as like Gynergy in action, gratitude in action. we use these words a lot because it really starts. It really is simple. It starts with being grateful for what you already have, rather than seeking things that you don't have. Having a mindset of scarcity of what you lack. But when you focus on gratitude, you will attract more of that, more of the things that are in alignment with you.
So one thing is really being focused in on the things that we're grateful for. Maybe we overlook on a daily basis the great food that we have, that fuels our body, the relationships that we have that maybe we just take for granted, and so many other things that just we're always thinking about what we don't have. Maybe you think at home like, this is what I don't have. I desire this, but I promise you, somebody out there is desiring exactly what you have right now. And if we're not in this moment and present, and one way that we can get present, I'd like to prompt you to do this with me and Yesi right now, is just take a deep breath. And when we take this deep breath, breathe in, hold it in, and breathe in with intention. Fill those lungs and just think about those things. Visualize that gratitude, something that in your life that you're grateful for. And then just exhale any stress that you're holding on
Should we
to.
do a quick one?
Yeah, we'll just do a quick one. Just do it. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1. Big breath. And one
Your
thing,
piece
yeah,
already.
one thing we'll dive into in some of these episodes too is just the power of gratitude coupled with breath work and how that can just center you in any moment that you're in. And I love that. One other concept that we talk about all the time is just not living in gratitude, but also doing what?
Taking action with gratitude. We have this concept we call daily gratitude actions. So it's not just about waking up and making a list of things you're grateful for, which is also a great practice to do. But in addition to that, to take it a little step further and take action with gratitude. So it could be something as simple as reaching out to someone who has made a positive impact in your life and letting them know, sending flowers to someone unexpectedly, doing something small for a stranger, holding the door for them, just little things, little acts of gratitude go a long way. And with that being said, it's like really it's about service. That one of the most transformative tools that we talk about, and also that is a huge part and pillar of Gynergy, is being of service to others, giving back. And one of my favorite quotes of all time is, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. This is a famous quote by Gandhi, and I find that
That's
to
a
be
great
very
one.
true. And it's been a huge inspiration of Gynergy and what we do. Would you like to talk a little more about some of like the service work that's part of our mission?
Man, I love that. Yeah, DGA is a daily gratitude action. So I'd also prompt you to do this today. Give somebody a compliment and strike up that conversation, but not just a surface level compliment. Like really take a look at them, how they're carrying themselves, just something unique about them that you feel with their energy, maybe, and just give them that real compliment and see how they light up. And when you're intentional about it and you start making that a part of your life, the way that it shifts your interactions with people around you is really really big. So
And I think that's the key with what you mentioned, being intentional. It's not a surface level compliment, but it's a really intentional compliment. You'll be surprised. Garin loves to talk to people in the elevator and ask them really deep questions.
it's one of my favorite things to do.
One of
It
his
catches them off guard. It's
one of
amazing.
his favorite questions is, "What's one thing that you're grateful for that was unexpected that happened this year?" I feel that's one of the questions. Famous elevator pitch.
It gets people really thinking about, what happened unexpectedly that I'm grateful for. And it really gets them start thinking about all the great things in their life. And you can see just the energy shift. And that's the power of gratitude. And the gratitude is a currency as well. So when you utilize gratitude in your life, a lot of abundance starts to show up. And we feel that through our relationships that we have. And that's part of our mission to spread that.
Even with our own relationship, the more
Right.
grateful we are for each other, like the more connected we are, and the more blessings we are attract into our relationship.
The better we can show up for one another. Right? Not taking the little things that we do for granted, and just focusing on the stuff that we aren't doing,
Yeah.
maybe,
The
right?
goal is to be of service of the other. Just serve like freely, without attachment, without expecting or keeping tabs of what the other person's doing. Just giving freely and joyfully because we genuinely like want to show up the best for our partner, for our friends, for our family, for the community.
Yeah. And that talk, the way that we talk to each other, the way that we talk to ourselves, one of the things that we talk about all the time, and we'll dive into all these different things in our episodes, is self-talk. If if you wouldn't talk to your friend that way, or you wouldn't talk to me that way, why will you talk to yourself that way? Why would you ever talk to yourself in a way that you wouldn't talk to, somebody that you care about? Because you should really care about yourself, and yourself listens.
Yeah, and we're all human. Those thoughts are gonna pop up, but it's like having that self awareness to like recognize when those thoughts come up and shift them, shift your perspective, and be like, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. So choose kindness, choose to be kind to yourself.
So super, super grateful for that. We'll dive into all of that. We've developed this whole gratitude journal experience called Date Zero. It's like that first date within yourself. It's not a singles, not a couples thing. It's just a individual journey that you dive into.
It's a true journey of self discovery, gratitude, and purpose and service.
And for everybody that's competitive, if you're competitive, we also gamified it because I love competition. So if I can compete with people and it tracks points and everything else. So our whole mission is to make gratitude cool, gamify gratitude. Let's spread that through the ripple effect.
I think to say Garin's competitive is an understatement.
Who, me? Especially when I'm on a mission. So we got a mission to spread it.
A mission.
Right. And I know I'm so grateful to be here with you guys in our first episode. We have so much more to share with you. I hope you had a great takeaway that you're able to take and implement into your life, or just got to know me and Yesi more. We'd love to hear from you at the Gynergy Effect on Instagram, or our website is gynergy.com. And just more that you share with us, the more that we can give back and share with you. And that's our whole mission here.
Yeah, and if this episode resonated with you, please share with someone you love and who would benefit from it, and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'll love to connect and hear from you.
Yeah, like and follow it. I mean, this is episode 1. Our goal is to do this for the next 100 years and be the #1 podcast in the world and creating change in people's lives. So let's start right now. Start today.
If something we shared today resonated with you, or it sounds like where you are today or where you have been in the past, send us a DM and we'll love to hear your story and see how that aligns with our mission to reach millions. Thank you.
See you next time.
If this episode spoke to your soul,
share it with someone you love and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'd love to connect.
And remember, your energy is your power. Use it with intention.